Franz Tost has left AlphaTauri after 18 years in charge to be replaced by Laurent Mekies, who is moving over from Ferrari. This is big news, quite big news, for quite a few reasons. I think Tost has been there for 18 years, firstly, and that can't be an easy job to do for 18 years when you know that you've never got the potential. You're never going to be in a position to actually win races or to compete. I mean, yeah, they won 2 races while he was in charge and in their history, but they were crazy races, right? In general, the AlphaTauri car or the Toro Rosso car or whatever it's been over the years could never be more competitive than the Red Bull. So the mental strength and fortitude and persistence that had to go on for Franz Tost to be in charge of a team that he knew would never win. And I suppose his win was getting someone like a Sebastian Vettel through to Red Bull, or getting someone like a Max Verstappen through to Red Bull, and seeing them go on to be world champion and achieve great things, and knowing that he played a role in that and he nursed them through. But for him, I think we have to admire that he has been in charge of a team that he knows cannot win world championships or cannot consistently win races, because it just won't be allowed to happen because it's a B team. You know, it can never happen. So, first of all, immense respect to him. Secondly, what does this mean for the future of AlphaTauri? Because it could mean a couple of things. It could mean Red Bull are knuckling down big time on AlphaTauri, and they really, really want to start taking it really seriously. Not that they don't take it seriously already, but that they want to maybe bring them up the grid and let them challenge a bit more than they're already challenging, and they're making personnel changes because of it, and bringing in Laurent Mekies, who has worked for Ferrari. He was Binotto's right-hand man. He's been around for a good few years, and he even, he kind of played the team principal role a little bit, at least public-facing, especially 2022, when Binotto was under a lot of pressure. Mekies took a lot of the media stuff after races and after sessions. So it's kind of, I'm sure it's a role that he has become familiar with over the years, working so closely to Binotto and others. But either it means that they think that Franz Tost is not the person to bring them forward and to bring them up the grid, and he has done everything he can at that team, and that's why they've gotten rid of him, because they want to push it forward. They want new people in, fresh energy. Or, and I think this is perhaps the more likely scenario, they want to sell that team and they want to get a really good offer for it, and they're doing a bit of house cleaning and putting in the infrastructure that makes it incredibly appealing for someone to buy that team. And maybe they see that making these changes is what's going to make that happen. I think the end result is probably that Red Bull sell AlphaTauri, but I mean, how much money would you have to pay for AlphaTauri? You'd have to pay £1 billion, maybe, to buy a team that has got so much infrastructure already. It's got history, it's got staff, it's got everything you need, It's got a license to race in F1 also, because, I mean, that's a big one that you have to pay as well. So, yes, it could appear a good option for a team that's looking to buy, and perhaps that is what Red Bull are gearing that up towards, because if you think about it, they definitely spend more money than they make on that. They have to, at least pre-budget cap, they had to. In an immediate term, I can't see them making more money through that AlphaTauri sponsorship and through selling clothes, more money than it does to run a Formula 1 team. So, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen, but in general, the general message is congratulations to Franz Tost on a fantastic career. We don't know if he's going anywhere else, if he's got any other plans. I can't imagine him moving to a different team as a team principal, particularly not a top team. 18 years served in coaching drivers and building world champions, giving world champions the foundations to go on and win world championships. And not just world champions, he's brought through many, many really solid drivers through that Toro Rosso Red Bull camp. So congrats to him. Congrats to Laurent Mekies on becoming team principal of AlphaTauri. Big move for him as well, and I'm sure he will relish the opportunity to be in charge of a team and be the man where what he says goes, rather than being a right-hand man. And we'll see what happens, won't we? Time will tell what happens with AlphaTauri. I couldn't see them, if an offer comes in and the money is right, I don't know how they could say no, especially now that Dietrich is gone. Dietrich lived for extreme sport and he loved Formula One. And I think that he was a big reason that AlphaTauri has existed for as long as it has in its various forms, because he was a motorsport junkie and he really just wanted to be able to bring through younger drivers. And now I can only imagine it's more business heads that have taken over Red Bull, and they're looking at the accounts and thinking, we'd make a lot more money if we just sold this second F1 team and slapped an AlphaTauri sponsorship on the Red Bull car, which is driving around at the front anyway. So it's probably getting more coverage. Final question I have is, what would Red Bull do with their juniors? Would they have a link like Ferrari have with Haas or Alfa Romeo, where they could put their drivers in a particular team, their young drivers? Because Red Bull have so many young drivers, and I feel like AlphaTauri is a really important part of their development. I mean, can you imagine they just took Yuki from Formula 2 and AlphaTauri didn't exist and they just put him in the Red Bull? He'd be way out of his depth, and we'd see Max Verstappen killing teammates more than he already does. So that's another interesting aspect for me. The system works incredibly well for Red Bull, you have to say. Yeah, it's had some struggles over the last couple of years, but overall it's given them 6 World Driver Championships, 7 really, because Max is going to do it this year again. And I don't think that that's something that they will so quickly snap at an opportunity to lose, because that system coming through AlphaTauri, going into Red Bull, it works. And if AlphaTauri goes away, Red Bull lose a key element of their driver development and building world champions. So we're just going to have to see what happens. That's all I have to say on this one. Thanks a million for watching. See you in the next one.